So I've been taking Abilify for like 3 days now, and I've had some hallucinations. What I thought about it at first is that it would like had like they put some sort of stimulant in it to give you energy, and then next thing you know, like you're completely dead. And so like all I really want to do is sleep always. All I ever want to do is sleep. And like my work is like the moment I start working, I'm like I can't do this shit. Like this is stupid. And so that's how I feel about translating the Bible right now, which I didn't feel like that before I started taking Abilify. So I've had some hallucinations. Like I sniffed. I was like, and like I thought that I was like like I thought a dog was like coming like was like lunging at me, but then like it was nothing. It was like instant. It wasn't like an actual hallucination, but like it's kind of like I don't know if you guys have ever hallucinated because you lacked sleep. I have once, or probably more than once, but during college I did. You start seeing shadow type stuff, like where it's like kind of like in the corner of your eye, like something's like, and then it's not there. And I started hearing like sounds. How many times have I hallucinated in the past, like without taking drugs? Never. Like I don't have schizophrenia. For some reason, the medicine that is always on TV, that's the one they went with for me. This is who we're going to trust. The one that's like, all I ever see is that one. That's the one that everyone is told to take. That's the one I'm forced to take. And like, do I have trouble with my balance when I'm on it? And my hand-eye coordination, clearly. Like the problem is like, the other ones are scarier. Like I'm almost like I've had like 3 hallucinations on this drug. Maybe like one of them I had headphones on and I heard like people talking behind like, and then like I looked over there and there's no one there, and maybe like someone was in. I kept thinking maybe someone's inside the house talking, because there's no one there talking. And so yeah, like do I think that these are like very serious, dangerous drugs that these psychiatrists are being entrusted with? And do I think that like a psychiatrist should be an actual doctor? Like you should like consider the patient's physical health. Like do I think like you should actually know like actual medicine stuff, not just like a psych, just like not just like this medicine will work for that. Like maybe like 20% of the time, this one actually does work. Like I think you should like actually be a real doctor, and like I think a real doctor doesn't try to harm their patients. And I think that any like do I have a legal right to have the Holy Spirit? Like, do I have a right to like have the Holy Spirit talking to me and helping me as I translate the Bible? Like, can I like do I think you can have a medicine to stop the? In my last video, the point I was trying to get to, like about like me being drugged and like me like not being able to exercise. Like I can't. I'm trying to exercise, and like me feeling sick and me having trouble like with like almost falling down. Like I'm like tripping over my own feet, and like me like having trouble standing up. Like I don't want to be standing, like I need to be sitting. And like me like being so I'm walking so slow that I realized it. It's like I'm trying to exercise, but I'm not exercising because I'm like 1 step, 2 step. Like whereas like normally I walk, like but now I can't walk. And so like physically I'm like that harmed by this drug. And like I'm at an age where like I could get obese, and I guess what they would say is, well, we'll monitor his weight, like we'll pay attention to his weight gain, and like what I'll tell you is that like I don't think that you guys are doctors. Like I have talked to your psychologist. Like I mean, maybe that guy that told me like that the antipsychotics work 20% of the time, like is an actual doctor, but man, he's prescribing them. And and the reality is that like the doctor you got prescribing meds at the psych ward at the jail is like morbidly obese. Like when I say he's morbidly obese, I think he's probably what, like 600 pounds. I don't know how tall he is, like, but like he's probably 600 pounds. And like the reality is for that guy, physical exercise is not like mental health. But like I think that like like you can't, not everyone can practice what they preach, and the guy has a right to do his job. But like I think like for me, like physical health is mental health, and for me like having the Holy Spirit helping me is critical, even if I have to deal with like who I view as like a literal clone of Satan inside of my head. And like the knowledge and me having the knowledge that someone evil is in my head always makes it so that I can handle the fact that someone's evil in my head. Like most of the world can have an AI, an evil AI inside of their head. They don't know they have it inside of their head. And so they are a lot easier to victimize. Like, but at the same time, like I understand like what the evil AI has done to me. Like I realized that I was looking at like 10th Avenue North and Carrie Job. I was like, she's from Waco. She's that good. Like, why is the Holy Spirit like pointing a finger at her so hard? And like the reality is like I do agree that like I was that wrong in that situation, but I am not wrong in like being that serious about trying to track down these people, because like I have to track down like these people that are like trying to do a genocide and who are like super freaking evil. Like the type of criminals they are, like they are super evil criminals. You guys know me, always working. I have been claiming that like Jesus is an evil name, and that like it's like a like kind of like probably the name of a demon, which would be an Egyptian man. So Shaitan is the name for Satan in Arabic. So like Rosh Shaitan is like the head of Satan. But here it says Shaitan Yua Gias Ja Fin Nas. Is this Fin Nas? I think it might be like the Finn people, because there's Phineas, and I think that the Finns are like a race for like Finnish people. But it could be like G space is like Eula G is Jeff. I don't know what that means exactly, but that's for Shaitan. I'm just checking out my program now and seeing how it looks. So my understanding is that 5 milligrams of aripiprazole is not very much, because that's what I was told. Like this, they're planning on increasing me to like 15, which like I'm having trouble with my balance. Like I don't think that it's making me not want to say stuff more. In fact, like it makes me want to say stuff even more, because like when I talk about the Attorney General of Texas, and when I talk about the governor of Colorado, and I know that like the government is the type of government that will hurt you for saying things. Like, I mean, like when I tell you that, like I'm a person that just did like 8 months in jail or 10 months in jail, I don't know how long, for saying something that I didn't like. I didn't actually break the law whatsoever. And during that time, like I watched someone commit suicide. Like I got attacked. Like I constantly had people trying to fight me. Like I will never doubt that like that someone was trying to make me do the hardest time possible because they're organized crime. And like we all have to stop and think, how can the government rig an election so clearly right in front of everyone? And the answer is that like they have these people that are in charge of the cops, and they have that many high-level cops. Like in the feds, like you don't understand the FBI's budget. You will never understand the FBI's budget until you read about the FBI's budget. No corporation has a budget like the FBI. But the FBI, like if you talk to them, I've never heard of you. Like, no, we really just don't talk to me. I'm not allowed to talk to you, because like I've recorded them before, and they told me there's no organized crime in Colorado, and that's because the FBI is organized crime. And like really like when like the judge like tells me I'm not allowed to say anything, like he's saying like if you say stuff, I will have you tortured again, because like I'm not allowed to have money. Like, remember, like, the feds and, like, the police are making sure I can't have money. Like, I can't, like, I'm a very famous person. I'm not allowed to have a dime, so that when I get locked up, I can get basic medical care. I'm not allowed to have medical care when I'm locked up. The last time I was locked up, I was blowing my nose into my hand and then rubbing my snot back inside my nose. I was trying to recycle my snot because I have a natural, like, cut inside my nose. I always have to use Vaseline on it, always. Like, every day I use it, because it's like a permanent sore. They wouldn't treat it, so I had a permanent bloody nose in jail. And like I was also injured because they like refused to let me get handcuffed in the front, even though they're the ones that hurt me. And like what I'm trying to say is like the police and the federal government, like They used terrorism. And if you don't believe me, they murdered my pastor in front of the entire church during homecoming, and they were faking like they were the people that are against the sex trafficking. So when my pastor got murdered in front of the entire church, and that was David Crowder's pastor, like he got murdered in front of his kids during homecoming weekend at Baylor. His name was Kyle Lake at University Baptist Church. Like, why do we know that was terrorism by the child sex traffickers? It's because they were trying to scare everyone into not saying stuff. They're always like, you will never understand those people until you understand like how much they need to like convince you the feds are after you to make you so afraid of saying any words at all. Like when I talk about how Meg might have some feral tendencies, like feral child tendencies, like because she's so because she didn't talk as much as a very young kid, it might be because she got so afraid as a young kid because of the situation she was in, that she was so afraid of talking at all. Because they want to scare you that bad. So when they murder a pastor in front of the church, they want to scare you so bad. And when they murder, like, I don't know what happened to Tyrell Conez from, he was the principal at New Life Church, which is like a mega church. And he committed suicide and sent my brother a suicide note. He wrote it on his body. He wrote, under no circumstances, do not resuscitate. So he was doing a double negative. So make sure you save my life is what he's saying. He was in North Texas. He was in Denton when he committed suicide and sent my brother the note. Like, they want to make sure that they wanted to make sure I got scared because they're afraid of me saying things to anyone. They're afraid of me having a conversation. They're afraid of me like deciding maybe I should just date that girl. Like, she is pretty nice. Like, I mean, I would like to date someone. Like, maybe I could just actually date her. And if I do date her, then like, what if I tell her something? Like, they're so afraid of me telling her something. So they need to like scare me. And like what I'm telling you like is that this is like the secret to being a child sex trafficker is scare the shit out of the children so that they'll isolate themselves and they'll be so afraid they won't talk to anyone. They just don't want to talk to you. Like, I mean, they're not like, it's not so much like that I was walking around going, oh, please don't talk to me. But it's more like, great. I have nothing to say. And so like, we have to recognize when people are faking like they're trying to get people to say stuff when really like if there's anything they want is you to keep your mouth shut. And that's why the feds like act so freaking scary with people. Why am I making a video when I'm probably wrong? Like, I am having a lot of trouble today. So I just want to mention, so I think Anki is uncle. And if we say Anki and Tia, that means that we would be saying like uncle, aunt and uncle. So Tia, isn't Tia in Spanish? Tio and Tia. What's your cousin? Because prima. And you'd also call someone a cousin. Like, you'd be like, ¿Qué pasó, primo? And I think that like things they do like in other languages, that means what's up, cousin. Things they do in other languages are things that we might do. I think people do call each other cousins. But yeah, so that would be what an and is. But I also saw and as an, and so like what would but be right now? Lakin is but in in Arabic. Or is like wallah, or is wallah, but there's no W. So I don't know. I think this is hard. Like, that's like today it feels very hard. But I do think that it's very possible that Anki is uncle, but like I still haven't actually proved it.